Hey guys, it is Wednesday, July 24th. We're back to 67,000. And in this episode, title of this episode is Gold Beats Stocks and Bitcoin Beats Everything. But we're also going to be talking about the election cycle and how I think this actually plays into what we call the Bitcoin cycles, right? So let's first of all talk a little bit about this title, a little bit clickbaity, called Gold Beats Stocks and Stocks Beats Everything. I want to show you this post by Charlie Morris. Now, if you don't follow Charlie Morris, you should follow him. He's a gold bug, but I think this is pretty cool. He started off with a $100 index in January 1988, okay? And, in January 2000, roughly, right? So we start off at 100, and the S&P starts at 100, and gold starts at 100. So how's the S&P done over the last 25 years? Well, that $100 has turned into $600. That's pretty impressive, right? But gold has actually done better, right? Gold invested in 2000 has gone up to $841. And so it's pretty much outpaced it in the entire 25 years. It's never been below the S&P 500. Now, we had this period where it was far, far above the S&P 500, right? It went up, way overshot here to 700 versus about 100, right, on this index. But then it came back, the gap was closed, and now, we're still at an all-time high in terms of a gap. So I think the key here is that where does this S&P return come from? It comes from money printing, right? Money printing goes into the S&P. It goes into the price of houses. It goes into the price of assets. And that's what money printing does. It moves from one store of value, it moves to a hard store of value, right? And so it's not surprising that the S&P is up so much when you print this kind of money. And of course, Bitcoin has outperformed gold and the S&P over the last 25 years. It's only been around since 2009, but it has outperformed. So that's the first thing. Second thing I'd like to say is about this election cycle. And, I've also put out a tweet here about, I really do think that the election cycle is a big driver of Bitcoin price. And, people always look at the halving, and they sort of say, well, it's a supply shock, we're adjusting. But let's just focus on the 3 months before the election and the 3 months after the election. And if we do this, we get some pretty amazing results, right? So what do we get? We get, in 2012, we went from 11 to 31 in those 6 months. So we went almost up 3x. In 2016, we went 575 to 1062, so about 2x. And in 2020, we went from 12K to 38K, so about 3x. So this is very much concentrated on those 6 months. So, if you look at it versus the halving, the narrative is not quite as good. There was 3 halvings in November 2012, in May 2016, and April 2020, but it's hard to weave in exactly this narrative of before the halving, after the halving, it went up. You have to sort of say, well, there was a delay, it took some time, blah, blah, blah. So I really think it makes a lot of sense to me that these election cycles have had a lot to do with Bitcoin. Do I think Satoshi planned it this way? No, I don't. but that's a longer story. And why is it? Well, the markets hate uncertainty, right? They hate uncertainty. And once the election's over, there's a lot less uncertainty, right? And leading up to the election, we're getting towards that point, so there's an anticipation of having more certainty. And even if we have an election that you might not think is pro-Bitcoin, like the election of Biden, it gets reinterpreted and people say, oh, well, I need Bitcoin in that case too. So I think this is not a statement on the party matters. It's not a statement on the power law, which has nothing to do with sort of those core 6 months. This is a sort of short-term thing. And I think right now the short-term data is looking pretty good. Do I think we could double between here now and the next 6 months? I do. So that's kind of my view. In fact, that's my base case. I could be wrong, but that's my base case. So anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do like it, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to be in Nashville speaking, so if you're there, come by and say hi. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.